Your subscription, your support, your like, your sharing, it matters and it counts a lot. Okay, I can't do these type of things without the support of the people who are watching. So I want to thank you all, and once again, please hit the subscription and with the bell, please, so that you get notified every time that I post a video. What's going on, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Telegram? It's your brother, the voice of Judah 12, and welcome back to my channel. How many times when we think about superheroes do we think about black people? How many times when we think about somebody powerful, someone with supernatural abilities, do we think about someone that looks like us? Not a lot of times, right? Amongst the average of our people, the average everyday of our people, that's not a common thing that comes on our mind. The greatest thing that we think of is just overcoming some racism or something, right? Which that is important, but I'm just saying there's much more, even greater accomplishments and much more varied accomplishments of black people. So what I'm trying to do today is basically shine light on something that we don't think about, something that probably a lot of us don't even, probably have not even known about, which is the black history of extraterrestrials.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
What I mean by that is, for those who have studied what they call ufology, right, which is the study of unidentified flying objects or unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs, there are people who have described encounters with beings that are not from this earth, beings with supernatural abilities beyond anything that the mind could imagine. So when these beings are described, they're oftentimes described as what, green little men, right? And so people don't take that serious. Like, oh yeah, whatever, some green little people, yeah, whatever, sure. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not, who cares, right? Or they're described as white people, right? They call them the tall whites. Also, they're called the Nordics. That's another type of alien that's oftentimes described. But what is not talked about, and we never hear about, is the description of aliens or quote unquote extraterrestrials that look like black people. We never hear about that. So I plan on making different commentaries on different accounts about that. Today we're going to be looking at a movie called Ariel Phenomenon. Okay, this was made in 2022, so just a few years ago.
Hundreds of people today phoned the ZBC and BBC correspondent in Harare saying they sighted an unidentified flying object last night.
These things were flying in a pattern and there was no sound.
No wings, no nothing. Shiny oval thing.
It was a bright, radiant light. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Ariel Phenomenon. Let's get into it.
Ariel School, 19th September 94, 12:12 local time. Could you tell me what you saw on Friday?
Well, it was just glinting in the trees, and there was a man, and he walked towards us, and he walked back again.
What does he look like?
His face was like this, and his eyes were down here.
Like what? Further down his face?
Yeah, much further down than us, because our eyes are here, his are down.
You don't think it was somebody in fancy dress doing a prank
No.
or something? And how tall about?
About, say there, sitting on the spaceship.
How do you know it was a spaceship? Wasn't it a helicopter or something like that?
Well, it looked like it was like a disc, like a round.
And whereabouts was it?
Well, in the trees over there, between the both.
And did you girls see that as well?
Yes.
We asked them to draw pictures of what they saw on Friday, and after looking at those, I definitely feel that they did see something. But to actually say that it was a UFO, I would be reluctant to make a decision like that.
All the other journalists in Harare were not taking this seriously, but I took it seriously because this story got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Just listen.
Right, these are the grade 7s, the oldest children here at the school who say they saw something. Did you all see something?
Yes.
What's your name?
I'm Daniel Mandy, and I saw this silver thing in amongst this clump of trees with this one thing sitting on the side and another thing sort of like running up and down the top.
I like this film real quick because this film highlights these are going to be white kids, not just black kids. These are white children along with African children describing what they saw. And listen very closely to what they describe.
It had a long top and a flat at the sides.
What was around the side?
Just so like a platform coming around the side.
Did you see anything else?
Yes, we saw the black man.
Wait, stop. Did y'all hear that? I don't think y'all didn't hear it. No, you didn't. You was getting something out your back. You was eating. I get it. Look, I gotta play it slow. Cause I know people no, there's no descriptions. There's no
I don't think they exist.
There's no proof of anything out there besides the little green aliens or the white Nordics. No, listen.
Just so like a platform coming around the side.
Did you see anything else?
Yes, we saw the black man.
You saw a what?
We saw the black man.
You saw a what?
We saw the black man.
You can't make this stuff up.
These white kids in Africa, the blackest continent on earth, saying that at their school, they playing in the playground. We just playing with them, and they turn and see a spaceship from far, little ways off, not far, but far enough where it's a decent distance. And they saying that on the spaceship, they see a nigga sitting there like this.
Wow.
That's my humor, but they see a black.
Wow.
But they see a black man sitting on a spaceship. Bruh, look. They actually described two. So they say that there's one that they saw sitting on the spaceship, and then there's one they saw running. Like you'll hear it. They said they saw one running, and he kept on. Basically, I'm gonna just let them say it.
A little man or what?
A little man.
We looked, it was about this small, but we were quite way away. So it was about our size. I saw something silver on the ground amongst the person in black. And that's all I saw.
The people that have encountered, the kids that encountered and saw this, they describe it as not only black as far as clothes, but they describe the skin being black. That's why you notice the white kid said a black man, but then the girl is saying a man in black or something like that. I just wanted to make sure I made that distinction because I don't want nobody to read that and say, it says a person in black. It doesn't say it's a black guy. It's a person. No. You heard what the white boy said though. The little white boy said it was a black man. I've seen white people with black suits on. I don't say, hey, look at those black people. Look at that black man. No, that white boy said a black man because that's what he saw. A black man.
Alongside the silver thing.
Yes.
Have you heard about UFOs before this?
No.
You didn't know anything about it, so it was something quite new to you.
Yes.
Were you afraid?
Yes.
August, probably something came down, but it would not account for the figure you saw.
Now, real quick, this is also really deep because, as shown in the very beginning of this film, this documentary, there were many accounts or reports, I should say, of people who claim to see what they call UFOs before these kids had said this. This wasn't like this just some random incident like, oh yeah, these kids just must be playing around imagining. That's why this was such a big case because you had not seen nothing like this. Not really talked about in the continent of Africa, no. Places like America, Europe, that was kind of controversial because of that. guys, welcome back to the Voice of Judah. These kids, they saw what they saw, and there's many accounts that support that. So we're going to get into a little bit more of a descriptive explanation of what they saw. The show that we're going to watch today is called Encounters. We're going to watch season 1, episode 2. All right.
Person, and it had big eyes.
A man that looked like a regular man or different?
No,
than...
he was all black.
All black?
Yes, and his eyes were looking.
Oh man, the guy that's interviewing him is a researcher named John Mack. Now John Mack is a Caucasian man, and he's interviewing the boy, saying, you know, the thing that you saw, did it look like a regular man? Now John Mack is obviously a regular man. And the boy is like, he can't help but to, you know, kids can't help but to be honest. So the boy's like, no. He's like, no, he look like you was all black. Man, the white boy said it was a black man. The black boy is saying it's a black man. So now let's hear the accounts of the black girl and the white girl. You know, you hear in every angle. You hear both the males, both the females. You're hearing both of the blacks and both the whites.
And it was a bright sunny day, so there was definitely no mistaking what we were looking at. The clothing was black, very skin tight.
Imagine seeing a person that is this black. Imagine that. Like kind of like right now. Like it looks like you can't see my neck. You know, imagine seeing that, and that's actually how my skin looked. You probably would say that's clothing, but what if it was a person's real skin like that? Because if you notice, she's saying the clothing was black and was skin tight. So in other words, it was hard to separate the clothing from the skin. Because in order for her to mention it was skin tight like that, the body itself was black. Okay, but just listen.
Like a scuba diving outfit.
Scuba diving outfit. When you wear a scuba diving outfit, usually those outfits don't just cover just the chest or something like that. Covers your arms, legs, all of that. And I think a lot of scuba diving outfits goes on even to cover the head. You think it's gonna be wearing? He's wearing something that covers him all over like that. That's skin. That's skin. That's their actual body. But like I said,
like diving suits.
Listen to what the girl said.
And it had like a very big head, oval, kind of like a pointy chin. It kind of came down like this.
It had big eyes. That's all I saw about it, big eyes.
Where did you see
black body.
She said, no, big eyes and black body. Body, like as in your head, your chest, meaning not just the clothes. Your body isn't just your clothes. The body. But I know that's not good enough for some of us, right? Because some of us are still skeptical. Oh, what if it was a green? What if it was a white and then black clothes? I got you.
One of the first things that we were told was there was a gardener down there that was gardening. And I don't want you to be talking about this any further.
Look at this man right here. I want you to look at this man very closely. According to what the descriptions of the kids saw, the parents and the staff are listening, and they said, this sounds like maybe you saw the gardener out there. Like there's like a school gardener who, you know, is taking care of the land. Look at this gardener. I want you to look at him closely. Is his clothes black or is his skin more so black? Which one is it? His skin, right? I hate that I gotta Dora explore you, but
Where? Bitch, is you blind?
Because the kids, when they were describing this, it wasn't just the clothes they were talking about was black. It was the skin as well. That's why people they said this clothing was skin tight, because there was barely any separation between the skin and the clothes. The clothes and the skin were about the same level of black. Okay? So you couldn't get nothing else out of this but black. I just want to make that clear.
Enjoying the ship. A couple of lights.
Look at that. Now you see the ship itself, right? Look at the being right here. Look at the being. Look at his face. Look. Do y'all see that? That's not the clothes. That's not the like shirt and stuff. No, this is the head face. You mean to tell me he wearing some clothes on his face? This is how he looking. The being is walking around with some clothes like this. Now this is one kid. This is only one kid who drew what they saw and showed the face being black. Watch some of the other descriptions. Let's look at them. But look at the color of the face that they used. It's brown, y'all. We only hear about green. And for, like I said, those who study ufology, we hear about the Nordics, which look Caucasian, but we never see any that look like this.
The hair was a bit like Michael Jackson.
What is Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson, we know he was black, right? Now, obviously, we know Michael Jackson called vitiligo, skin turned white, right? But remember, the kid is not describing the skin being like Michael Jackson. He's describing the hair being like Michael Jackson. Now, notice this. The hair texture basically was straight. The kid is saying it was straight, basically like how we know white people's hair to be, right? It wasn't thick and coarse like black people's hair, right? But even though it was more like white people's hair, the kid didn't say, hey, the hair is like mine. You know how us white people's hair is. To describe the hair, he used a black man who had hair like white people. Isn't that strange?
That's suspicious.
If this being was not black and the hair was white-like, and everything else was white-like, why would you have to use an example of a black man who eventually had his hair changed to looking like white people?
That's weird.
Instead of just saying, hey, the hair is like mine. Things like that, you have to notice how the kid is describing what he's saying. That description is easier to use a Caucasian man, but he didn't. He used a black man.
And you want to know what else is funny?
And he had a black suit.
And they had a black suit
We already talked about that. Stop.
Who the fuck is this bro?
So here goes another child's depiction. Look at the head and look at the hands. You can see where the shirt or the clothes is, and then you can see where the shirt stops, and it goes on to show the head and the hands. Because I know y'all smart enough to see, but I have to emphasize these things. Whenever you mention black people in a positive light and any type of subject you're talking about, if it's an extraordinary being, if it's somebody in history that people have always portrayed as white, and you're like, no, actually I have records that show they were black, people always try to say, no, you're mistaken. So I have to go through and explain through the multiple accounts of the kids what they said, what they drew, what people who heard what they said thought they saw. All these things together show you that they knew and what they saw was a black man. Keep watching.
These big eyes.
Stop. Now, I want y'all to notice the hair, right? Now, he described the hair as being like white. And I'm not arguing. I'm not going to argue that too much. Because, hey, if the hair looks straight, it looks straight. But this is just what, in my opinion. When you look at that hair, what does that hair look like? They call it micros, I think, because my sister used to get them. These braids, they call micros. Maybe he meant to draw it with more, like with the hair closer together. But with the hair spaced out like that, that makes me think of micro. But hey, it could just be a coincidence. I'm gonna give him that. He said it looked like.
Now you've made pupils. Did they actually have pupils, or was it solid black?
So the only one thing that they do describe as white was the pupils. He said, was that solid black? He's asking that because everything else the kids are saying is black. The body black, the clothes black, hair black. He's like, is that solid black? Oh, no, pupils are white. Okay, the pupils are white. That's how you know, man. Let's see how the kids described the UFO itself.
So we were at recess. I was in year 6, and the teachers had gone on a quick staff meeting, so Salma and I were kind of roaming on that out of bounds area.
Doing what kids ain't supposed to be doing.
And I remember that there was a bright light, and both Salma and I kind of went, oh, what's that?
It was very shiny, it was bright. You would see it one moment, you wouldn't see it another moment.
So in other words, the object itself kept on becoming transparent. It kept on turning invisible, then becoming visible.
Shiny disc
Silver
with
shiny
lights on the lower half of it. There were lights. It was like
Dang, man. So they're saying that on this UFO that they're saying that it had lights on it. We're going to read Ezekiel chapter 1. Let's read verse 4 and then let's read verse 18.
And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it.
So you can clearly tell this ain't no normal cloud. No, a brightness, like a glow emanating from something.
As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them four.
If you ever see these videos that people have of where they're recording an unidentified flying object, right? What they say is a spaceship or something like that, right? When they're recording them, and let's say it's nighttime, the object will blend in with the night sky. But people can tell that there's an object there because there's a ring of light. Y'all ever seen that? Go like doot, 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 doot. So a circle of light. Ezekiel described these lights, as people call them, as eyes. Now, whether they're actually eyes, whether Ezekiel literally meant them as eyes or not, who knows? But you have to remember, Ezekiel, the prophet, he wrote the scriptures at a time when we didn't have things like light bulbs. So he can't say, oh, it looks like a light bulb that's going like this. No, he's describing like how an eyeball looks, but like in a ring, like in a circle, a circular thing that has these white little circles like an eyeball at each point.
What?
I mean, you're hearing it and you're seeing it and you're reading it, but still gonna go over some people's heads.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Went to Ariel school, which is quite a good school, private school. And for the most part, raised reading the Bible, understanding things from that Christian perspective.
Since he mentioned the Bible, let's see what the Bible has to say about these descriptions that these kids saw, these encounters of the third kind.
Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man.
Meaning they were not regular human. They had the likeness of a man. So in UFO reports, they call this a humanoid. Meaning it's not human. You can tell it's not human maybe based upon the powers, what it does, the functions of it. But you can tell physically that it looks like a human, but it's not one, right? Let's see what he describes this man to look like. Let's jump down to verse 13.
As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright, and out of the fire went forth lightning.
Wait a minute. So he's saying, Ezekiel's saying that of this unidentified flying object, this cloud-like thing that he's looking at, came a man, and the man looked like burning coals. Coal is black, but not kind of bright. No. Black. He said burning coals of fire on top of that, meaning the beings, not only were they black as far as their skin, but they had like a glow about them, like a red-like glow emanating from them. Bruh. What is he talking about? The angels. Ezekiel's describing the angels. That's what this chapter is talking about when you read it. It's talking about the angels. So Ezekiel is describing the angels coming out of what we would call an unidentified flying object. And the angels that he's describing they look black. And wait a minute. What did these kids describe the being looking like? Black men. Things that make you go, The kids actually received a message from the being. The being did not just come by just to show up and just to say what's up and then leave. No, they came with a message.
It was just like I was being drawn in by this being. And I remember seeing big black eyes.
Bro, they can't stop saying black, bro. Everything they describe, black.
Message!
And I don't know if it was telepathic, I don't know, but the message I was receiving and the message I remember was that we were harming the planet. But growing up those days, we didn't really discuss those kind of things. We just we just blocked it out and we just moved on.
The environment is our first priority, and that we all make the right choices for the environment.
We need clean air, beautiful plants, clean soil to be able to live and thrive.
You have to think about it, since the current nations who've been ruling the world, which are white people, the Europeans, since they've been ruling the planet, right? What has come into existence more? You have new innovations, you have new technologies being created, especially during the time of the Industrial Revolution. During the Industrial Revolution, you had factories being created. You had technologies like microwave, cell phones. You had like these buildings that would work on stuff where smoke would be coming out of chimneys. All that stuff was not natural. You had chemicals being breathed out into the atmosphere that us humans breathe in. So that's chemicals you're talking about. That's air pollution. So people want to cut down trees. That's deforestation. Weapons being created, right? You had missiles. We got guns, right? Remember the creation of the Seminole Colt, that gun, which means people are dying, bloodshed. But these researchers, these scientists will go to islands that they said, hopefully they said, were not populated by people, and they would test out missiles and bombs there. So because of that, you got to think about it. Species, you got trees, you got plant life, you got sea life, all that is just being wiped away, just being destroyed. And then of course you got the actual times when they really did use the weapons against people during world wars. Bruh, people are just destroying the earth. They're destroying the earth. And these beings are telling them the earth is being destroyed. Watch the technology that y'all got. The earth is being destroyed. Letting you know really that which is what the angels have been saying, that the earth is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. That's in the Bible. The Bible actually talks about that.
Animals to plants to just everything around us.
I think they want people to know that we're actually making harm on this world and we mustn't get too technologized.
I don't think I could even say the word technology when I was at that age.
Bro, that's weird. These kids were not even learning about this stuff at that time. That wasn't in their curriculum. That's how you know this is just not normal, man. So, the angels, which we know in the Bible are black men, or as they called it, the beings that they saw, they said the earth is being harmed. Stop harming the earth. The earth is being harmed. Let's see if we can read that in the Bible. Revelations 11, we're going to read verse 15. We're going to jump down to verse 18.
And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven, saying, The kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord, and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever.
Meaning, in other words, the earth is not in righteousness, and the Lord is not reigning on earth right now, but he will reign. The Lord will reign. But listen to what the angel continues to say. Let's jump down to verse 18.
And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them, which destroy the earth.
So we're seeing right here in the Holy Bible, the angels are saying that the earth is being harmed, the earth is being destroyed. So we see that message is in the Holy Bible. This alien didn't come and say, take me to your leader, give me your brain, or it didn't say no weird stuff. Almost like they were human. Interesting. So now I want to get into the powers. I mentioned that these beings had powers, right?
And I saw like a door.
And then suddenly he was over there.
Whoa,
and he was
whoa. They're saying on a craft, on a spaceship, a door opened, right? And like they saw like the being, and they're saying that, like just like that, the being went from right here to right there. Like he basically teleported, so to speak.
right in front of us.
I blinked, and then I saw the being less than a meter or two away from me.
That's crazy. So teleportation, they see in this black man teleport. This is insane. Wow.
What scared you?
The noise.
What noise?
It was like someone.
So the kids described the being running around, like I showed you in the first video. The white kid was saying, we saw this black man running around, right? So, is it biblical when it describes these beings that the Bible calls angels or living creatures running? Let's see. We're going to go back to Ezekiel chapter 1, 14. Watch this.
And the living creatures ran, and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning.
These beings, what do? They run, and then they return. So basically, that would look like teleportation or superhuman speed, whatever. But it said of lightning, or as we say it in our today's terms, faster than the speed of light. Okay, that's what they saw. These kids said that's what they saw. They said it looked like the being would run, and then he would appear right here, and then he would appear right there, and he would do it again and do it again. This is what they saw, a black man do that came out of a spaceship. Bruh, this is insane. Now you understand why they wouldn't want to put nothing like this on the news. Bruh, that is scary as hell. Like, it's cool, but that's actually, like, that's freaky, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
They're their own individuals. They have to choose what they want to believe. Maybe they truly believe that they'd seen it. But I'm sorry to tell you that it never happened, and they're lying to themselves. I might have lied once or twice, but the rest of the people, they continued the story for me.
Excuse me. Sorry, I've been working out. A little sore.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Guy who just spoke saying that the kids were lying, he was one of the 62 children that originally said that this is what they saw. Over time, as they got older, when they interviewed him, he said no. He actually said not only did he say that he was lying, he said that he was the one who started the rumor.
Wow! Incredible!
Now listen closely to what he's saying. He's saying that he started the rumor, right?
Yeah.
If he's so much of a liar that he started the rumor, how do we know that now he's telling the truth? If you lied back then, how do we know that today you're telling the truth?
No.
And we're supposed to now believe you that you're telling the truth?
No.
That's not normal. That's not normal. That's not normal for 62 children lying. Because whenever you're talking about an account of an event that occurred, of course, one of the main things that people use to substantiate that particular event occurred are witnesses. This is what God said about witnesses.
One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity, or for any sin, in any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established.
So God always had made it plain in the law that in order to establish the truth of somebody's word, you need at least 2 or 3 witnesses. Why is that? Because one person can easily lie. One person can easily say, this is what I saw. This is what happened. But you know, when you have 2 or 3 different witnesses, you know what that's called? Eliminating bias. When you have 2 or 3 different people, you can separate those people and interrogate them and try their account. And when their account is usually consistent, even though they may not be close friends or they may not know each other, that shows that there's truth there. But only one person saying something, you can't establish the truth off of that. So according to even the law, you would go more with the 61 children that still remain on their account than the guy who switched what he said and said, no, I was lying. That's not how you would establish the truth. I'm just showing you according to the law. But I'm gonna give you what an actual lawyer himself said, because you may say that's not good enough.
60 children lying about what they saw or being put up to it by their friends. That's a pretty big group.
So this is an attorney. Okay, his name is Eric, and he's saying 61. That's like 3 classes of children, ideally, from what I'm thinking. Maybe 6 classes, depending upon how much they gather in one class. Between 3 and 6 classes of kids who are of different age ranges, because remember, these kids were of different age ranges. So I heard the youngest of them were like about 6 years old, and the oldest was like 12. So you have 6-year-olds, and you also have kids who are bordering upon being teenagers. This wide range of age group, race, gender, and all of them are lying, and just one person comes out? Why are all of them keeping their story consistent over the years except one person? These are just things that you just gotta be like, something don't add up. But listen to the attorney. Keep listening.
If I can get 5 16-year-olds testifying that one particular teacher or priest was a predator, that's really powerful evidence, and I win the case. Okay, so all 60 people describing the same experience, why should we discount that? This is the kind of evidence that is very powerful. in legal circles.
All these things I'm showing you, I advise for you to watch in your own time.
Oh, I'm gonna do that anyway. I'm gonna do that anyway because that's how I am.
Don't just trust me, or I'm just getting little clips so I can get to the point. He himself, I think he mentions that he was skeptical too at first. He's a lawyer, so lawyers deal with things that you can prove a lot of times by the book, you know. And he's just listening like, you guys talking about you saw some alien? What is this? What are you talking about? But then he noticed he never heard of a case where so many witnesses had described seeing something like this. It's not normal, man. And for most of them to stay consistent over the years gives even further credibility because they're not changing their story. The only one who changed his story was a guy who admitted that he lied. Now listen to what Dallin is saying about what he saw and what he thinks of the kids'
I would have gone up to the spaceship, because when else are you going to get an opportunity like that to actually physically go up to the alien?
Boy, if you don't... You think the first thought of a person will be like, let's go up to it and meet it. Let's have a meet and greet. So how's your day been? How's it been? What planet are you from? Bruh, not this complexion. We ain't doing that.
You know, a lot of people obviously argue with me, tell me I'm a liar, tell me all sorts of things. But, you know, I have to be honest with myself, first of all. And my truth is there were no aliens. My truth is that it was a rumor that started. And if you guys believe that you saw something, I do apologize for calling you guys out on your bullshit. But, sorry, I have to be honest.
Remember I told you pay attention to the descriptions of the way people say things. Notice he said, my truth. My truth. If I'm telling the truth about something, I don't have to say my truth, because the truth doesn't belong to me. It's an objective thing that exists outside of a person's opinion. Hell, you pay attention to what they say. Now remember what I mentioned earlier. I showed you Bible scriptures, how what these kids saw aligned with what the Bible says. And these kids said that a lot of them were raised in traditional Christian households. We're going to see it when they went back to church, how the pastors reacted, if they gave them the scriptures or what.
Reason is because a lot of us are skeptical.
At the beginning, I'm searching, I'm seeking, I'm asking people, up until a point where, at a certain point, it started getting hostile. The most hostile was this youth pastor who basically went red in the face. He's saying like, no, aliens don't exist. He was really trying to get me to not ask those questions.
Stop. Why would a pastor try to get you not to ask questions about what you saw? So none of the things that the boy described resonated with anything that this pastor taught in church. I wonder why. Well, as we look closer at the image shown in the middle of the screen, who do we see on the cross right there?
Who could it be? Who could it be? I just can't imagine who. Could it be Satan?
Somebody might say, who? Jesus. It's a white man being portrayed as Jesus. It's Caesar Borgia, who the world believes is Jesus. Do you think that if you grow up in a church that's teaching you that Jesus and God and people in the Bible look like that, do you think that they're going to tell you, yeah, the black man that you saw is actually an angel in the Bible?
Probably not.
Youth pastor, right? Like, okay, like I get it. You know, Jesus came to earth and, you know, died for our sins and everything, but where did he come from? And I remember asking him then, could it be possible that he was an alien? And I was like, I've witnessed this, I've seen this. And he kind of shrugged it off and he's just like, no, you didn't. Right? You didn't see it. Literally, I had people saying, no, you didn't. You did not see that.
Now, why would the pastor be so adamant about him not seeing what he saw? Clearly, it was just a person wearing black clothes.
I remember this one white pastor actually saying to me, you know, your experiences that you had as a child, they don't matter. Who you are as an African is irrelevant. He actually used the word irrelevant.
Wow.
I can't bring my own individuality, and as big as the world is, with so many different people, kinds of people and languages, you want to erase all of that and say it doesn't matter.
You think that a white pastor is trying to teach you about a white gospel of a white Jesus saving your black tail. Sorry, excuse me. Do you think he's going to show you, according to the Bible, that what you're seeing is biblical? And that the beings that you saw, those black beings that you saw, those are the angels? Do you think he's going to tell you that? No, because the people that enslaved us and taught us Christianity did not want us to know where we come from. So why in the world would they tell you and connect it to you that you are the people of the book? They're not going to show you that. They're not going to tell you that God and Jesus looks like you. They're not going to tell you that the things that you experience are biblical. They're going to make it sound like you're crazy, you're strange. I don't know what you're talking about. This is insane. I feel sorry for this brother, man. But that's why if you grew up if you're going and attending churches like this, where they're telling you that God and Jesus is white and that the people in the Bible are white, you need to leave immediately if you are a so-called black person, black, Hispanic, or any person of color. You need to be leaving immediately. Because your experiences that you have, if God is trying to show you something, it's going to be just like this.
Seeing an alien brought me to a place where I did find my Africanness, my own African belief systems and culture and spirituality.
Wait. If this was just a person, I had to go back to the point. And I know somebody's in the comments. We was kangs. I know some of you white supremacists are in the comments trying to attack us whenever we mention that our people are royalty and that we come from greatness. Can't forget the coons. Because they do the work of the white supremacists. And I know they're saying, no, these are people in black clothes. If these are just people in black clothes, why would a young African child see this being and says he finds a sense of Africanness after seeing the alien? You know why? The young African boy saw a being that looked like himself, doing extraordinary things that we've never heard of or ever known of people describing black people doing. We always hear about the narrative of black people just being slaves. We've been on the earth for thousands of years and all we've been is slaves. That's it. Y'all just were slaves. But as far as us, we're Jesus, we're God, white people, yeah. No. What this young African boy experienced is why so many of our people stray away from the Bible. Because it's like, whenever we hear the Bible, we think of colonizing, oppression. No. That's why it's so important that we come out of these different churches that have lied to us. He told him his experiences as an African does not matter. Doesn't that sound familiar? I don't know. So, you can take what you want from that. You can join and agree with the white pastor, try to hunt him down and join his church. Or you can listen to what the Bible say and listen to the kids that actually experienced it, over 60 of them.
I believe in it because I did see it.
Most people would say the question is like, are we alone? I don't think that's it. I think the question is, who are we?
You waking up, bro.
And maybe begin to understand that someone else could be looking back at us. It's like, who do they see?
So in other words, what he's saying is, we're so amazed at these beings that's coming and visiting us. That must mean that there's something special about us. Because why are they coming from wherever they coming from? And they got all these kinds of abilities. Why are they coming visiting us? It must be something about us that we don't know, that they know. 62 kids reported seeing spaceships and extraterrestrial beings at school that day. That we know. 10 years later, John Mack, that white man, was hit by a drunk driver and died instantly. John Mack, the interviewer, that white man who was interviewing them, he's the only one that took them serious. And it's because of him that this story got so much press and got the attention that it did. Otherwise, it would have been like a local thing in Africa. Are these kids really seeing something? Or is this, just another case of children just playing games? I want y'all to leave y'all comment down below, man. I want to read what y'all say. What do y'all make of this story? But please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Voice of Judah. Y'all have a good day. All right.